I promise. The Rapunzel lore, watching, talking, it's gonna continue. I promise it's gonna continue. I just have other videos I unintentionally prioritized, and one of those unintentionally prioritized videos is this video. I had no idea I wanted to do this until literally last night on March 30th. And on TikTok, I've been doing um at the end of every 2 months, I do a recap of what I've read because I only read 1 book a month. Like, my whole goal for the year is to read at least 10 books. And I have read 3 books so far this year, 1 for January, 1 for February, and 1 for March. And I just feel like on TikTok, I'm doing every 2 months. On YouTube, I can do, like, every 3 months. That way there's, like, more books for us to talk about. So, that means the next book club meeting will be in so we got April, May, June will be June. Will be June. Will be our next book club meeting. So that's really exciting. I really want to, like, diversify my channel, and I really wanna grow my channel, and I really want to hit 200 subscribers this year. So I'm like trying to like find different content that kind of fits this channel. And I will get back to uploading videos on like not I'll be uploading videos that aren't lives. I just have to find the time and the energy to like upload them. Whereas with these, the only thing I really have to edit is the thumbnail sometimes. So that's why lives are like more easier for me to do than, like, uploading a regular video, cause like, I also do have an opalite reaction video that, like opalite's been out for almost 2 months, and I still have not uploaded my reaction. So, hopefully, that'll go up in April. Fingers crossed it'll go up in April. But, as you saw in the thumb in the not in the thumbnail, in the title of this video, I will be going over Where There's Room for Us, No Charm Done, and Half His Age. The first book is by Hayley Kiyoko. It is her second book. Her first book was Girls Like Girls, which is an adaptation from a music video, and now the adaptation of the music video into a book is now being made into a movie. And I feel like what better time to talk about Where There's Room for Us with Girls Like Girls is literally coming out in June. I'm so excited for Girls Like Girls to come out in June. I have loved Hayley Kiyoko since she, like, played Velma and Scooby-Doo, since she played Stella in Lemonade Mouth and Stevie in Wizards of Waverly Place, and she played Megan in The Vampire Diaries. I've loved her music. I've read her first book. I've read her second book now, and I'm really looking forward to her movie, and I really want a third album from her because Sis only has 2 albums, and I need the new music circulating. But with that being said, I will, like, actually get into the first book I'm gonna talk about. It is Where There's Room for Us, and I think this is a huge improvement compared to her first book, Girls Like Girls. Girls Like Girls struggled a bit with making us understand Sonia, and we see Sonia, like, she's experimenting with Coley, but she doesn't, like she's scared of the feelings that she's feeling for Coley, and there's also this, like, break we get between Coley and Sonia doesn't tell Coley she's going away to this camp, and when we finally get them 2 together at the end of the book, it kind of falls flat, and I wish we would have seen more of, like, "I'm sorry for the way I was acting." It's just society has all these expectations on us to like we marry a guy, we get settled, we have babies, like that's what reality society wants on us, and that's what Sonia's mother wants from her. And so like I would have wished that we would have seen Sonia's mother react to her daughter being with Coley and like how she's deferring from the life she expected of her and everything. It also like I'm also a fan of the dual narratives, and in Where There's Room for Us, there's a dual narrative. In Girls Like Girls, we did get some aspect into Sonia's life, but it was still like her feelings didn't progress well, And then when they did come, it was kind of like out of nowhere. And so with Room Where There's Room for Us, I feel like it greatly expanded on the dual perspective, and we got to see more of Freya and more of Ivy. It's Freya and Ivy, right? Yeah, it's okay. It is Freya and Ivy. And Where There's Room for Us, we get to see more. It's a dual perspective, and I love that that's a huge improvement from Girls Like Girls. We get to see Freya's life, and we get to see Ivy's life. And Ivy is this well-known woman that is like well known, but not for the right things. And the her being well known is kind of something that people put on her. Like they played on her as being this well experienced woman when she's not a well experienced woman, and how she might be like a seductress and everything. And so this book starts out with not Freya, Ivy and her brother Preston. Preston. Oh my god, what's her name? Oh my god, totally forgetting the brother's name. I feel like his name might be Preston or something similar to that, but I don't remember what his name is. I feel like it is Preston. Come on. Prescott. Prescott, not Prescott. So Ivy and Prescott, they inherit a family estate, and so they move from New York, I believe, to somewhere in Europe. I don't remember exactly in Europe, but like they move to somewhere in Europe and they inherit this estate. And in Where There's Room for Us, we see um like movement being made with the LGBTQIA community, but we still see setbacks. Like if you're a man with a man and you have children, the children will still be able to inherit what you have. You're still able to uphold your title. But if you're a woman with a woman, you will not, like if you own a house or like you have money or something, your children will not inherit that. And you will not be able to maintain your title. And that's why Freya's dad is kind of like pushing on her to settle with this guy, I forgot his name, that she needs to marry him and settle and have kids and have a son because she has two sisters who are already in the LGBTQIA community. Um, I don't remember the sister's name. Oh my god, what are the sisters' name? What are the sisters' name? There's three sisters. There's four in total. Um, where there's room for us, Freya's sisters. Like, what's the sisters' names? Freya from Where There's Room for Us. Like, I don't remember the sisters' names, but there's four. Wait, I took notes on this. I absolutely took notes on this. Okay, because I talked about it on TikTok, and I might have deleted the notes I had on it, but I am curious to know if I still have it because this was the first. Okay, so there's Danny, there's Angelica, and there's who's the fourth one? So there's Freya, Angelica, Danny, and then there's a younger sister. Unless Danny is a younger sister. Whatever. Okay, so like you guys know, like there's four children, and I don't remember what the third what the third one is. Um, so it's just really gonna bug me. It's really gonna bug me. Okay, whatever. I just have to put this aside. Okay, so two of Freya's sisters are part of the LGBTQIA community. One of them is already married to a woman. They're trying to have a child. And then the youngest one, I might be Pan, I think. I'm not sure because she loves who she loves. Like, she doesn't matter who she's with, she just loves who she loves. And, um, what's it called? So, like, and then the oldest sister, Angelica, she is married to a guy, but she's only had girl children. And so with their father only having girls and then his oldest having 2 girls herself, the expectations kind of on Freya to continue his bloodline, to have someone carry on the estate they have, to carry on the titles they have. So he's pushing for her to be with a guy. And Ivy comes in and kind of throws Freya for a loop. She didn't know she liked women, or Freya didn't know she liked women. And Ivy comes in and she's this woman that's like acts like she knows everything and whatever. And then since Freya's oldest sister is pregnant, her dad and her mother go away to help her sister go to give birth. So Freya has all this time to get to know Ivy and not be scared to be seen out with her and not have her father judge her for being with a woman and not have all these expectations on her. And the sisters that are there, they get to know Ivy and they love her and they give her a team jersey because they play a sport together as a family and everything. And then once Freya's dad comes back, it kind of crashes and burns. And this book kind of does the same thing that Girls Like Girls did, where they rush the breakup. They rush, like, they have to break up. There has to be conflict and they have to break up. And so we get this short amount of time where they're broken up, and I would have thought Freya would have for sure, like, once Prescott got sick and Ivy had written Freya about that, that Freya would have gone to see Ivy and make sure Prescott was okay, but Freya just, like, didn't do anything, like, didn't like, yes, I know Ivy, like, went behind your back and, like, kind of outsold your family, but, like, you still would have thought that, like, the love you have for this woman would have, like, made you, like, gone to see if, like, her brother was okay, and it didn't. And, then we get this rushed we have to get them back together before the end of the book, and like I said, it kind of falls in the same way that Girls Like Girls did, where the 3rd part of the book feels rushed, and I would have loved if we would have seen Freya and Ivy build their trust back before seeing that, like, oh, they looked at each other, they had a small, deep conversation, and they got back together. And then we get a flash forward, kind of like an epilogue of Ivy proposing to Freya. And she's writing this book where there's room for us about their love story. And I just would have loved if there would have been more between Freya and Ivy. Like, they would have developed the breakup more. They would have developed more time for them to get back together and not just like, oh yeah, we have to there's like 30 pages left of this book and we have to get them back together before the book is over. And I think both Where There's Room for Us and Girls Like Girls could have done so much better if they were given 60 more pages, if they were given more time to develop the story between Freya and Ivy. So with that, I mean, like I said, I still think this is like a so many more steps better than Girls Like Girls, but I still think there could have been so much done to better improve the story, especially with the ending. I was hooked from day one. I had a space. I had to read X amount of chapters a day because if I didn't space it out like that, I would have for sure read this book in like 3 days. Instead, it took me like 10 days. But yeah, I was still hooked. I believe I gave this book, like a 4 out of 5 on Goodreads. And I still gave Girls Like Girl a 4 out of 5 because I feel like neither book were deserving of like a 3 out of 5, and like neither book were deserving of like a 4.5 out of 5. So I gave both a 4 out of 5, even though I think this is better. So that's Where There's Room for Us by Hayley Kiyoko. I can't wait for Girls Like Girls. The next book is No Charm Done. These Where There's Room for Us and No Charm Done are both sapphic lovers, and I absolutely love that. This book is about Lily and Chrysanthemum. At least I think that's how you pronounce her name, but I'm going to call her Chris for the sake of this video because I don't know if I'm saying Chrysanthemum the right way. This is also a book about 2 girls. Lily and Chrysanthemum? I say that because, like, when you read, you don't really get a picture of, like, what the characters look like except for maybe the cover. And so I read this book in February, so it's kind of like I kind of forgot, like, who was who. But I believe Lily this is Lily, and that's Chrysanthemum, or it could be the other way around. I honestly don't know. But in this book, we also have the dual perspective, which I really love about this book. Um, Lily is this witch, and well, first, okay, so let's start with Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum is a witch that comes into town. She moves in, and Lily kind of like exiles her a little bit. Where like Chrysanthemum's this new witch and kind of looks like an outcast, and so Lily kind of exiles her and creates this conflict between the two. Even though, like in the beginning, Chrysanthemum did have feelings for Lily, and then she casts a spell on herself to suppress those feelings. And I'm like, why? Why? But then like as this book goes on, we see their conflict grow in the first act, and we see them unintentionally create this hex on each other because we see them hexing each other in the beginning, and then like once Chrysanthemum does something to Lily, Lily retaliates and kind of like has this unfinished hex, and then Chrysanthemum also has his unfinished hex, so it's like manifests into this hex that kind of like only them two can see, but it still affects the world around them. And first and foremost, I do want to say if I did not read the excerpt about like the author in this book, I would not have known that Lily was asexual. And but like once I read that, I kind of like went back and looked on Lily's um like how she feels, and I could 100% see her the asexuality peeking out, more specifically demisexuality. Um Another thing I should mention is Lily had did a tarot card reading, and she has the tarot cards told her how her future should look like in her final year of college, high school, not college. And she takes it one way even though it meant another thing. And like one of those things was having the perfect partner. And so she takes it as she has to be with this guy, even though she's never had like romantic feelings for anybody. And like she can see this guy is hot. Like she knows she should like him. But there's like no feelings. But then like once her like after they unintentionally create the hex, we see Lily and Chrysanthemum working together to try to defeat this hex. And we see Lily growing more comfortable, forming a deep emotional or deep personal connection with Chrysanthemum. And so she's opening up about how she feels and her home life and all of this. And we even see in the book that Lily addresses that like, oh, she is demisexual and she is asexual. And I really love that like yes, this is like a woman on woman love story. I still love to see that it goes deeper into we get to see something that's not touched upon as much. Like we see like gay and like lesbian and transgender, but we don't really see further than those three or bisexual too. And if we do, it's normally pansexual. So I love that there's the asexuality, more specifically the demisexuality. And I love that Lily acknowledged that. And as time goes on, like I said, we see this connection for between Lily and Chris. And we see them have this kiss, and Lily doesn't really know how to react. And I I I I say Lily doesn't know how to react, but then I think Lily was the one to initiate their first kiss. Even though like I read that like this book is more fresh in my memory than Where There's Room for Us. I did not take notes on this book like I did Where There's Room for Us. So I kind of like forget little details. Um, but I really love this book. Another thing that I loved about this book is um they also had a transgender person in here. And it's not something they made a big deal about it. It's just it was natural. And the same thing with the demisexuality. Like I love that this book was like very inclusive and had these things that like weren't like over the top or like we're doing it just for like clicks and views. It was genuinely built into the story. And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool," when I saw that there was a character in here that was transgender and their pronouns were they, them, and I just thought that was pretty cool. Um, but, like, after they defeat this hex, or they think they defeat this hex, they have this, like, "We're together and we're doing stuff together," and but then it kinda does the same thing where There's Room for Us does, where it kind of falls flat in the breakup sense, and I feel like they handled this better with the breakup sense than Where There's Room for Us and Girls Like Girls, but it still felt rushed, and, like, we had just gotten them together. They had only been together for, like, 2 weeks, and then they break up because Lily is falling behind in her schooling, and she didn't know about this quiz, or she forgot about it, she didn't study, and, like, she got a lower grade, and so, like, because of that, she breaks up with Chrysanthemum even though she doesn't want to. And we see Lily kind of bury herself back into school, and then Chris just sees it as like Lily's just falling back into that mean girl pattern now that they're done with the hex. But then when this hex comes back, we see them having like visions, and it kind of like leads them back to each other where they have to like confess their deepest, darkest feelings, which I love that. And they got back together, and I feel like this breakup and this getting back together was so much more well done than Where There's Room for Us and We're like Girls Like Girls. It felt more natural. It didn't feel rushed to get them back together. And Where There's Room for Us, there was only how many pages there in this book? Um, there was only 303 pages. And in No Charm Done, there was 379. So this book had more time to build on Chris's and Lily's relationship as well as their breakup and getting them back together and just developing more time between Lily and Chris. And that's like I still preferred like even though this did like a had a better third act than Where There's Room for Us and Girls Like Girls, I still like Where There's Room for Us and Girls Like Girls because the first 2 acts were so much stronger than this book. And so this book, I don't remember what I gave it on Goodreads. Let me pull up my Goodreads. Did I even give this a rating on Goodreads is my question. What did I read it and then what did I give it? Did I give it a rating? I don't remember if I gave it a rating. Um I gave it a 4 out of 5. Oh my god, I need to diversify my ranking so bad. I feel like this book, like I said, even though it had a stronger ending than Where There's Room for Us and Girls Like Girls, I feel like this book should have gotten like a 3 out of 5 or maybe like a 3.75 out of 4 than a 4 out of 5 because I have to diversify my rankings. I can't just give everything a 5 out of 5. I mean a 4 out of 5. Cannot do that. Like I have to diversify my rankings. And once I'm done reading new books, I have intentions of going back to books I've already read, like The School for Good and Evil. I read that when I was younger, and I feel like those books, like even though they're dubbed for younger ages, those books are thick. Like they really go over everything in detail. And I haven't read it. Like I've read it. I think the last time I read it was when I learned that there were prequel books, which was back in like what 2023 or 2024. I honestly don't remember. Um, but I feel like somewhere around there was the last time I read those books, and now that I'm, like, intentionally trying to read more, at least 10 books a year, I should go back and give those books a rereading, especially, like I haven't read it in chronological order yet, and so, like, there's the prequels, and then there's the 6 books that come after the prequels, so I feel like I kinda have to, like, read it in order, and so far I've read 3 books, and adding those 8 books would give me 11 It would give me 11 books. Oh my god, you guys, I think this year I should really up my reading goal to, like, 15 books because I do have Jennette no, I have Alice Stoner's and, Molly Burke's book, and then I have 2 ARCs I have to read. So that's, like I feel like I should advance my reading from 11 bo or from 10 books to 15, which means I should be reading more than 1 book a month, but if I read more than 1 book a month, um I'm gonna burn through my books really fastly, and I'm gonna have no books left to read. So that's kind of like why I'm only reading 1 book a month. That's why there's only 3, and that's why I'm only doing a quick video about like the 3 books I read in 3 months. But with that being said, I am gonna talk about Half His Age. This is my most recent read. I read it this month, kinda like No Charm Done. It had, like no, okay, not like No Charm Done. I got this book solely for the author's name. Like Hayley Kiyoko, I have loved Jennette McCurdy, like, since she was an actress and since she was on Nickelodeon and, iCarly and, Sam and Cat, and I like like I'm glad my mom died. Both books were very hard for me to get into. If I did not take a trip this month on an airplane, I don't think I would have finished this book this month, which I was kind of like worried about. But then as I was on the plane to my trip this month, I got more into this book and I couldn't put it down even though I wanted to put it down because I had, like I said, I got it for the author's name. I love Jeanette. And I had no idea what I was getting in myself into when I opened the book and it started with a very explicit scene because I went to Christian school from the middle of from kindergarten to the middle of 7th grade. And so I thought the bad words were stupid, shut up, fat, and go to HE double hockey stick. And so when I read this book, I was really surprised. And that's kind of why it took me longer to read this book. It took me like all of March to read it because I had, once again, no idea what I was getting into. Like, I had no idea that it would start with such an explicit scene. First chapter, first page, but it did. And that kind of threw me off because I don't want scenes like that in the books I read. Like, I want to see intimate scenes, but I don't want to see scenes that intimate, if you get what I mean. And so, but let me like talk about stuff other than the first chapter. So, like, as you guys know by the title, Half His Age, we have this character named Waldo. Where's Waldo? And then we have this character named Mr. Corgi. And Mr. Corgi is Waldo's teacher. And this book I just read this month. Like, I literally just finished it a couple days ago. And we see Waldo as a student that wants to catch the attention of her teacher. She does a writing class so he can compliment her and read her work. And she's not really into writing, she's just doing it to get his attention. And even though he kind of sees it as like she does have potential for writing and she can do it and she should further it herself in writing. And I don't remember exactly, like, there's, like, so many, like, plot holes in my head where, like, I don't remember every single detail from the book I read. So, like, I don't remember why she ended up at his house for a dinner and, like, met his wife and his child, but, like, I still kinda think it's very inappropriate for a teacher to invite a current student to his house with his wife and his child, with her mother not there. You're inviting a 17-year-old to your house to have a dinner with your family. Not appropriate unless like the teacher's like a family friend, which he is not a family friend. And so I find that highly inappropriate. And not Corgi, Waldo kind of sees that as like, okay, does he like me? Is this like a sign that he's showing me he likes me? And there's like other signs too that she kind of like took on herself that like, oh, okay, maybe he does like me. And so he like they were somewhere and like they were taking a walk together. Like, why are you taking a walk with your teacher that's literally half your age? And one thing led to another where she kissed him. And he immediately repels the thought and he's like, I'm so sorry you misinterpreted things, thinking I had feelings for you. And instead of feeling embarrassed, she kind of pushes herself on him and is like, I know you like me too. I know you don't want to be with your wife. I know you're not happy with where you are at life. And what kind of this 17-year-old girl is trying to analyze her teacher who seems to have a good enough life? And we see her kind of trying to guilt him into being with her. And after this kiss, we see him like kind of like trying to put up this barrier between the two. And his I believe it's his dad that dies. And so she thinks he's trying to separate between the two, even though because he went away for 2 weeks. So there was 2 weeks worth of subs, and we see like we see him trying to separate the two. And this is kind of like where I was like, whoa, why are we going there? And so there's this guy that's like they're at a school dance, and there's this guy that's kinda trying to flirt with Waldo a little bit, and she thinks nothing of it, so, like, she tries to, like, excuse herself and, like, go to the bathroom, and then she went to his classroom just to have, like, a trace or a scent of her teacher, and then she sees the teacher come in, and she's like, "Where have you been?" And he's like, "Oh, my dad died." And so she kinda throws herself on him, and she's like, "Let me be there for you. I know you want me. I know you want me. I can feel that you want me." And he just kinda let like, even though, like, he's, like, trying to, like, "Well, no, we shouldn't be doing this. Like, we should absolutely should not be doing this." He lets her do it, and he doesn't stop her. And that's kind of the start of their affair. And we see this affair continue on for, like, most of the school year. Like, their start they're at the start of the year, he kinda, like, tries to, like, "We're not doing this," but then after the school dance, they kind of like, "We are doing this." And so with being in an affair, you have the excitement of, like, we have to rush our time together because I have a wife I have to get back to and a kid I have to get it back to, so we have to find this pocket amount of time where we get to be together and the excitement of being together, and if they wanna have a date or, like, a dinner or something, he has to drive her out of town, and she has to duck down at, like, red lights so that way nobody sees her with him, but then he literally drops her off at her house, like, can nobody, like, not see them that happen? And so, not Corky, Waldo is kind of not getting, like, fed up with this, but, like, she doesn't want him answering her phone calls when he's with Waldo. I say her phone calls, meaning his wife. And, but it's like he has to kinda answer the phone calls because if he doesn't, then his wife might get suspicious, and, like, they don't want her to get suspicious. And, we kind of learn as like, okay, so they go through their first breakup because oh, no. So winter break is there, and his wife is, like, going to, like, get her nails done and, like, spending time with family and friends, and he doesn't necessarily join her, so he has these pockets amount of time with Waldo. And then, spring break comes, and we see their first breakup happen because, Corky goes on this vacation with his wife, and he doesn't necessarily reconnect with her, but he, um, sees that Waldo deserves better, and she shouldn't be with someone that's half her age, and she shouldn't be with someone that's has a family, has a mortgage, and, like, is a teacher and, like, is well set in his career. And so he breaks up with her, and then oh, no, as they're, like, the spring break, I should also mention that like I said, Corgi was pushing not Corgi. I don't know why I keep saying Corgi when I mean Waldo. Waldo was kind of pushing herself onto Corgi several times in the first 2 acts of this book. And while he is on the spring break vacation with his family, we see Waldo literally break into his house just to get a trace, a scent, a whiff, lay in his bed, go into his medicine cabinet just to have some sense of Mr. Corky. And like the fact that she never gets caught for breaking into their house is mind blowing. Like, what are we doing? And but, like, once Corgi comes back from vacation, he breaks up with her, like I said, he wants better for her, and we see distance growing between the 2 as time goes on, and they don't get back together until, like, after she graduates, I believe, and when they get back together, he says, like oh, no, I think they might have, like, 3 breakups in this book. I just finished this book, and I don't remember every single detail. They might have 3 breakups in this book, but, like, after the breakup or whatever, he kind of pushes himself onto Waldo for once, which is surprising. And he says he'll divorce his wife and that he'll battle custody for his son and he wants to be with Waldo and he leaves his house or he's forced to leave this house with with his wife, his ex-wife now. And he has this shoehorn horn of a house he lives in and um, what's it called? The rush and the excitement and the thrill of having to jam-pack their time together kind of, like, fizzles out, so Waldo wants to kind of leave their relationship because the excitement's not there anymore. He is guilting her. He wants to know what she's doing and when she'll be home and how he's ready for her to be home, and, she has a job and, like, he doesn't think the job's right for her, like, even though he has the right intention there, like, he wants her to have a better job than she has, and he wants an education for her. He's still kind of like guilting her into being there for him. And at the end of this book, we see. Oh, also, I should also mention, like, I have like 2 more minutes before I have to go. But like, I should also mention that like they were doing it in his house, and his wife knocks on the door and like Corgi, I don't remember his first name, but like she walks in. She's on her period. Waldo's on her period. So she has to go hide in the closet with no clothes on, and she's dripping in the closet. And as his wife is trying to throw herself onto him, Waldo's in their closet, dripping on their floor. But at the end of the story, we kind of see that like their relationship like fizzles out, and they're going on this trip to Hawaii, which is kind of like not monument, memorable or whatever. Because in the beginning, like he's like, I want to take you on this trip, like I want to do all these things with you, and so like they finally get to do it, and then Waldo just leaves him. And I feel like it was a good enough read when I was reading it, but I don't think I would ever go back to reading this book. This book was focused on daddy issues, while I'm glad my mom died was focused on mommy issues. I feel like this book could have been better if they got caught, whether by the school, like he would have gotten fired, or by his wife. And I also would have loved it more if like they got caught because Waldo got pregnant. And I love a good pregnancy trope. A lot of my stories I write personally involve pregnancy, and I think that's because I don't want to get pregnant myself, so I expect characters and like all that to get pregnant. And so I feel like that could have like better the story could have been better if they got caught. And sorry, I kind of had to like wrap this up. I have to go pick up my siblings and get out of school in 5 minutes. So half his age, as I gave like a 3.5 out of 5. And yeah. So my next reads will include my 2 ARCs I have, and then possibly a physical book. Because like I said, I have Alice's Stoner and Molly Burke. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed my book club meeting, there will be more coming. The next one will be in June. Yeah, so if you like the channel, hit that smash button or subscribe. Smash that subscribe button. Like the video, comment down below. Like, what were your top reads of 2026? And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video, which will hopefully be my Tangled video. Bye.